Hey guys, so today we're looking at all the hex perks in Dead by Daylight. They've already been ranked, so if you want to write a comment now, you can do that, but we're going to get right into this. And starting from D tier, we have Hex Tier the Hunt. Hex Tier the Hunt, if you don't know, is a token-based hex perk where you get a token for each totem up on the map that is yours. So if it's a boon totem, you don't get the value. But, sorry guys, boons do give you value in Thrill the Hunt. That was my bad. Don't worry, because this thing gives you for each token, a 10% regression speed penalty for each token. And this stacks up to 5 times for each totem. So you get a 50% penalty for cleansing and blessing. So it isn't terrible, but also it's not really like as strong as like any of these, these, or these. So overall, I don't think it deserves to be in C tier. I think it's a D tier perk. And moving on to Hex Huntress Lullaby. Huntress's Lullaby is a interesting perk because the perk basically revolves around skill checks, which it shortens the time between skill checks for each token. And at 5 tokens, 5 hooks, you gain a effect where they can't hear it at all. So there's no warning between skill checks. You might get 1 or 2 skill checks, but people will realize this and they'll just start paying more attention to their skill checks and they will power through this, or they'll just find and destroy it. So overall, it's not very good. It's good in some builds like a Merciless Storm Doctor, but even then, it is very niche, to say the least. It's better than Throw the Hunt because it has some value, but overall, it's not like crazy anything. It's just one build where it's super effective, and that's kind of it. Moving on to Hex Crowd Control. Hex Crowd Control is a very um, interesting perk. It blocks windows when people rush vault through it, which can be super valuable, but honestly, I don't think it's OP. I feel that it's good on 2 killers, Leatherface, and Hillbilly. So to consider actually like anything higher than a niche perk at best is just not right. It's not right. And then really all these are niches. This is just not good. I don't think any build. This is a niche perk build, but still, it's just not like too good. And honestly, I might give Crowd Control better than Third Seal, but I think Third Seal can do much more. Third Seal, when you hit somebody for the first time, they're blinded. When you hit up everybody in the match, they're blinded. And I think this is it's a cool effect to have because it basically makes it where they can't see people on hook, which can be very strong in the right hands. But I've seen this. I don't run it very much, but I've seen it work sometimes, and I've not seen it work at all. I've seen it where it gets cleansed right away because people are like, okay, I don't want to do this blindness. You remove it, or they're on comms. They just say, okay, I'm by Killer Shack. Go get me, and then they don't even hit stage 2. They just get it got off in the first stage, right? So overall, you just have to be ready. This perk doesn't can be super valuable. It can be not valuable at all. But overall, I think the C tier niche perk in the right builds it can be useful. But overall, doesn't really. Oh, I should probably mention the change to this. So change between this one. So Hexual the Hunt did get nerfed. It where now you can't even. There used to be a notification between when they start working on a hex totem, you would hear a notification on the map, and you would go over there and stop them from breaking it. But now it's just not as good. And also they buffed Third Seal, where now Third Seal activates even on special attacks. So not even like bite rushes. If they hit you with bite rush, they still can give you blindness. So yeah, it's actually kind of weird. Bite rushes are technically special attacks, but Nurse's blinks aren't. So yeah, it's kind of got crazy how things work. But moving on to B tier, we have Hex Ruin. Hex Rune is a used to be a very strong perk. It used to be 200% regression on all gens that weren't being worked on. And this was pretty oppressive because if you just had like surveillance, you could basically make gens impossible to do. And ever since they nerfed it, which when they nerfed it, they cut it in half so only 100%, and they also made it where it goes away after someone dies. I think that nerf was a little too much. I think if they just made it where it was like 150%, where someone dies, it goes away. But overall, it's not terrible. It's universally can affect the whole game, so it's just there. It can be useful. It can also not be so useful. And yeah, I don't think it's terrible though. I think it's still used pretty well. And then we have Retribution. Retribution is a strong hex perk to say the least. And Retribution basically gives you wall hacks every time a hex perk is broke, including this one. So if you bring it by itself, they cleanse this one, you get 15 seconds of wall hacks. And you bring this with like Haunted Ground, you can get a huge combo. If they break Haunted Ground first, you basically have 15 seconds of wall hacks plus a minute of exposed, which is huge. It's huge. So overall, I think Retribution good perk can be used with usually any other hex perk and will give you value nonetheless. Blood Favor, most balanced hex perk in the game, my personal opinion. If you have to break this early because if you don't, pallets are going to go away. If you go over smart, they'll start breaking more pallets, and you have less pallets to go to, and the pallets you go to are blocked, and you get 3 downs. So this is a very important thing to break, and if you don't break it early, you can probably get away with it not breaking it early game a little bit, but after eventually you have to just break it. So overall, it's good, but not like super good. It's pretty balanced. Haunt the ground, second of exposed, or a minute of exposed. Sorry, and a minute of exposed is pretty huge because a minute of exposed basically means they can one shot you for a whole minute if you cleanse this totem. If you cleanse it, so you combine this with like haunted with devour, and I think let's break this totem might be devour, and guess what? It's haunted, and now you one shot you, and then you will knock, and then guess what? He still can one shot you because he's devour. So haunted is just it's overall good. It can be used with any other hex tome as a insurance or as a standalone, where you just bring it by itself as a centerpiece with like a retribution, and it's very valuable. It's very good. Okay, moving on to Plaything. Hex Plaything is a very good perk at getting rid of totems, which you might think is bad, but they consider fundamental. And you can basically what you can do is you can hook everybody once at around 4 gens, and then once they all get unhooked, they're looking for their totem. They break all the totems, and then guess what? You use Pentimento to revive the totem, and then guess what? Now you have basically all the bonuses of Pentimento up, and then if they break, like let's say you're Devour, you have all 5. You have all 5. They're unbreakable, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. So overall, Pentimento is just a nasty, nasty perk in the right hands. Used well with Plaything, of course. Plaything opens up Pentimento to great things. Now, Pentimento with Brats, with Haunted, with Undying is a different story. That thing is not bad. Really, Pentimento can go in any build, like with Devour, as long as, no insurance, get rid of Devour. Now you have a 30% penalty on all repair speeds. So it's just great combo. And honestly, them meeting each other is just because how good they are together. And honestly, I would not be too mad at putting this in an S tier, but I think right now it's just. Well, wait, hold on. Why is my mouse being that? Okay. Dude, what? There you go. Okay, cool. So, Noed, no one skips death. Is a very strong perk. In game, you can one shot anybody as long as it's powered, and as long as this totem's up. and this totem goes into any dull totem on the map. So let's say they break all your dull totems. You'll run this with like Pentimento. Guess what? Guess what? You can just get Pentimento value instead of having to deal with Noed or having to use Noed. So you bring this with like a few other end game perks, a like Pentimento. So if they do destroy your totems, you have a plan. And yeah, I think overall it's a good perk. It gives you a lot of value in many different ways, where you can get value from like having no pressure to having top pressure. Everyone's exposed. Basically, you go from 0 stacks to Devour to 3 stacks once all the gens are done, which is great. And we have Devour Hope. Devour Hope is the second best hex perk of the game. One of my favorite, actually no, my favorite perk of the game, because it's just so much fun to use, and it just gives you. So if you don't know, let me explain how this perk works. At 1 stack, so how you get, first of all, it's a token-based system. Now you might think, okay, how do we get tokens? We must first hook a survivor and then move 24 meters away. So we move 24 meters away, and then you get a token when they're unhooked, right? It lights up for you, so you know you're gonna get a stack. And at 2 stacks, you get a speed bonus 10 seconds after you unhook for 10 seconds. And I believe it's like 7%. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it is a decent speed bonus. And then at 3 stacks, guess what? You get a one shot. You can one shot every survivor, and you can hide this with like special attacks and stuff, which is actually pretty useful. So overall, and oh yeah, forgot to mention, but at 5 stacks you can just mori people, which is disgusting. So Devour Hope is one of the biggest trap cards you can do, and the biggest like Uno like reversals you can do in this. Oh, there's a truck. You probably can hear that, but sorry. But biggest clutch moves you can do is Devour Hope, because it's basically Noed mid game, which is better than Noed, which Noed is end game. So overall, I think obviously it's better than Noed, because Noed is end game, Devour is mid game, and mid game is probably more important to have pressure because they still do gens. So plus they're looking for the totem instead of actually doing gens, which is huge. And then guess what? When they finally break it, you can run this with the Pentimento, and then you can get 30% reduction on all fucking gens, which is gross. Okay, Hex Undying. Hex Undying is a best perk in the game, or best hex perk in the game, and the reason why is because it makes every other hex perk busted. If you bring this with Rune, guess what? Your Rune stays up way longer than it should. Bring this with Blood Favor, guess what? You don't just get the early game value, you get the mid game, which is more important, and you get the late game value of Blood Favor, which is huge. Bring this with Noed, guess what? It probably will get cleansed before you even get Noed. But if it stays that long, guess what? Your Noed's protected. So, like I'm just saying, it's just like, yeah. Bring this with Devour. It saves all the tokens, by the way, and he's by far the best nerf they've ever done. Where they kind of changed how the perk worked, well, nerfed it, but also made it better. And like this combo right here is my favorite combo in the game. So, what are your thoughts? Comment below. This template will be in the video description. So if you want to make your own list and be like, this is the one and only right opinion, you can do that. But anyways, I'm gonna leave, guys. Thank you for watching.